What's up, guys? So in this video, what I want to go ahead and do and talk about is the Lee Arnold system. So this is like a real estate program. The very first thing that you kind of get into there is the $9.97 like membership. Of course, the upsell is after that it's going to be like $39.97 per month to stay in, which obviously isn't killer, right? But the idea here is that he has a whole bunch of other products and services that he's going to try to upsell you to. So anywhere from couple $100 to a couple $1,000, trips, seminars, all that stuff. So the 997 is essentially what he's allowing you to, just get into his funnel. Like he's almost giving you so much value there that he's paying you to essentially join just so he has the chance of upselling you further on. But I don't think Lee's a bad guy. I just think the business model of continuous upsells is a little bit played out. Something that I personally don't really like about it's more so from the marketing side is the funnel of like just how the sales page is set up. It's very much like bringing to life 90s and early 2000s infomercials. Just something that for me personally, I get that I'm a little bit younger, just seems a little like gaudy to an extent. I prefer a much more like simple, straightforward, not psychologically trying to like trigger different responses because of how text looks or because of how this graphic is and stuff. Speaking to the model of real estate, it's just something I don't really recommend right now because everybody knows how overpriced the market is. And guys, when I say that we're like this close to a crash, like we are that close. These prices are unsustainable. Most people can't even afford homes just like in general. No one's going to keep paying rent that's like $2,500, $3,000, $3,500 a month just for rent. Not to mention it's going to be even harder for you to get into these properties to have that chance of renting, because if you already have like your own property, right? Like let's say you have your own house, you're lucky enough to have that. Trying to get another house in this economy with these interest rates at these prices is just not really realistic. Now, this isn't a Lee Arnold thing about what I'm going to talk about here, but in general, a lot of these gurus will say, oh, like you can just get one of these like super like low down payment loans and everything like that. And that's possible, but there's a lot of stipulations to make that happen, and it's just not realistic for the average person like you or me. The other thing you have to really consider too, right, is the market crashing. So why get into a house now that would be a rental property or something like that you're potentially overpaying upwards of $200,000 of overpaying? And don't just take my word for it. Go to this YouTube channel called Real Estate Mindset on YouTube. A guy's got like 100 and something thousand subs, but him and another expert on there actually go into different markets across the country and show you verifiably just how overpriced these markets are. Like I said, like $200,000 these homes are overpriced. So imagine your surprise when, say, 6 months to a year after you buy that house, you're automatically underwater by $100,000-$200,000. And for like, let's say your mortgage payment is $2,500. Let's like say some miracle happens, right? And you have a $2,500 a month of mortgage, and you're trying to charge $3,000, $3,500 in rent. Well, all of a sudden, if real estate prices crash, which they will, your rent prices are going to crash with it, which means you might be operating either at like breaking even or potentially taking a loss on the property each month that you have a mortgage on. It just puts you in a bad situation as a whole. So it's not that I don't believe in the model of real estate. I just don't believe in the model right now given economic circumstances. Now, something I do recommend is this thing called local lead generation. It's kind of like real estate in that it's digital. And I'll show you what I mean here in a second. But basically, this site is just super simple. It's not, anything special, but it works. And what I mean by it working is that over here on Google, it's number one for the main keyword. Now, I was lucky enough that this was my keyword and I was able to find like an exact match domain. That always helps. But just because I have the exact match doesn't really, like, I could have just built a regular website like any of these guys and been at the bottom. But what I did was I used some basic SEO like tools and practices, and over the course of 6 to 8 weeks, we got this site to rank number 1. And when that happens, you get a majority of the phone calls. Because what happens is they come land on the site, and if it's like an emergency, like there's a storm or something and a tree flies through the window or crashes through the roof or something like that, they land on the site, they might, read a little bit, maybe click the video, know that we're experts, and then call this number. Now, when they call this number, it doesn't go straight to me. I, of course, get notified of it, but it actually goes to a contractor who actually pays me for sending him the work. This is known as a finder's fee in the contracting space, and it's super common. Now, I send him a whole bunch of these calls each month, and he just pays me, either flat monthly or percentage with all these like different sites, because this isn't the only one I have. But over the course of time, it's an extremely stable source of income, and the overhead is extremely cheap. With real estate, you have to worry about a freaking mortgage payment, right? And making that, even if you have a vacancy, that's tough. With this, I'm paying $15 a month for hosting, $15 a month for a call tracking phone number, and $10 a year just to maintain ownership of the domain. Now, sites like these are worth anywhere between $500 to $2,000 a month, depending on the niche and service you're kind of going after and the volume that comes through the website. But that's generally a good ballpark of what to expect. So you're talking profit margins upwards of like 80% at minimum. So that's what I've done over the course of time, over the last 5 years. Extremely sustainable, not risky at all, because of just how cheap it is. Now, if you guys are interested to learn more about how I do this, go ahead, check out this page over here. I'll have it linked for you down in the description below. But basically, it answers every question you could possibly have about the business model without all the, cheesy graphics and like highlighted text and all that stuff. So if you're interested, go and check it out. If you found this video helpful, go ahead and give me a like, share, comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one.